What's up guys, today we have another viewer loadout building video, which is going to be really nice, and this one is for Clashify 1783. We're going to call you Clashify moving forward. I think this suggestion came through in the YouTube comments actually, and now that we've covered all the YouTube members for now, I was like, we've got to cook it up for him. So before we dive into it, I got to cover what Clashify was wanting from us here. Now, they have some core skins already, which I'm going to showcase in a second. But then after that, they have $4,000 to work with, and they have no requirements for me, just to cook up as best as possible with that 4K budget. And I think I know that they potentially suggest a second AK skin. So to cover what Clashify has already, they have a minimal wear pair of king snakes, which for the costing of this, they are about $1,300 plus. I've counted it 0 because obviously we don't want it to come out of that $4,000 budget. And they have a Karambit minimal wear lure, which is $1,600 plus. So this combo alone is verging on almost $3,000. It's a very interesting combination because I don't see it often because of the green handle, the Karambit, but I love the Karambit lure. And I had been eyeing up king snakes, but you do need them in minimal wear, which they have, so that's banging. And the AK they've been using is a minimal wear Stat Track Neon Revolution. Now, I love this skin. I used it myself, but I have noted we're going to give some suggestions for like a second AK or an upgraded AK while keeping this one, just because I think when you got a 4K budget, you kind of need to be looking at that. But let's look at the suggestions. So very quickly, the CT agent that I'm going to suggest is going to be Lieutenant Rex Crikey, who is the agent that I have as well. And the reason for that, as I say in most videos, is he is sleeveless. Currently, after the update, it's the only sleeveless option. So I want him to be there so that we avoid any clashes. But with this 4K budget, you can basically go for like S tier skins across the board. So I'm going to be able to suggest a kill confirmed tier for the USP. It's $90 for minimal wear. It is top 5 USP. I think everyone can argue about what's number 1 in there, but it's a top USP. It's absolutely vibey. You got the budget for it, you may as well lock in. And that'll be a bit of a vibe that we get throughout this. For the PG50, I'm going to suggest you go for the Splash. It's an older skin, and yes, the only artwork on it is the Splash effect, but for me, I remember seeing this used when I first watched CS events, like way back, and just I've used it before. I'm actually looking at buying one again myself. It just has a vibe for $24, that OG style. You can also hunt for a little bit overpay if you want for older stickers on it, which is kind of interesting. Now, this Desert Eagle has gone up in price a good chunk since the start of the year. It's now at $630 for factory new. It's of course the Emerald Yermanganda. Now, this is my favorite Desert Eagle in the game, and then I think the Fennec Fox would be number 2. What I like about this, and I'm not forcing it too much though, you have King Snake gloves, and some of the best artwork skins in the game refer to serpents or to snakes or animals or beasts in that realm. And obviously Emerald Yermanganda, like sea serpent, big sea snake, so that vibe comes in. Also the fact it's the best Desert Eagle in the game, I really like that. It's also why you're going to be seeing Cobra Strikes for the Joe Beretta, because obviously we got the snake skin and vibe, which is going to go from the bit of the gloves that you see onto the Joe Berettas, but also it's just one of the best Joe Beretta skins in the game. So like when the budget exists for it, you gotta go grab them. And then going to lean into my bias a little bit for the 5.7. I run a field test at Hyperbase. I think it's pretty much the best 5.7 in the game, so getting one in minimal wear to keep it clean for $56 when you've got a 4K budget, I think it's worth spending for. And then for the MP9, I'm going for the Latte Rush. I feel like this skin hasn't been given the love that it deserves since it was released, at least not from the general community. This is now under $50 for minimal wear. I think the fact that you've got glitter effect on the magazine, the Deadly Sip has hollow effect, the top of the reel of the gun has like a glittery hollow effect that changes color too. Is really nice, and what I like about this is the white of the King Snakes is kind of like an off-white. When it gets wear, it has that greeny brown on it, and obviously this is pink, contrasts really nicely with the gloves, but it has that little bit of brown element on it as well. Now, I can't lie, you almost got a over $100 Teal Blossom suggestion for the MP7, but I toned it back to the Nemesis. You might still not want to spend $7 for it, but if you want a bit more of a high quality MP7, slightly better artwork, colors that contrast nicely with the gloves, I think this is worth looking at. And then for the UMP, I had to go for the Neo Noir. It's basically $10 plus these days. I think the artwork's really nice on it. I love that the sword is going down in the magazine. Just nice, cool element, and works really well with the gloves. And then I thought the Monster Mode XM could work really nicely here, just because it is that kind of like goofy graffiti style. It's got mixed colors, which means the white gloves really help you play into that. I gotta say, it looks like the left hand on the agent is like broken to an extent with how they're holding this. We really need the further animation updates to come in soon, Valve. And this is going to be the last one before we get into the proper meat and potatoes of big spending for the CT side. I'm going to go for the Justice minimal wear. It's just under $5. For me, this is pretty much like, it might be the best Mag 7 skin in the game. And then I mean, just vibe out with it. There's not too much to say. What there is a lot to say about, though, is the Emperor A1S suggestion. It's been a while since I could pick it, but we now have the Welcome to the Jungle. Now, I am going for Battle Scar because it gets the Easter egg on the wear, where you start to see the skills coming through, which for me, they look like glove hearts in the magazine, and I'll stand by that. But you start to see the skills come through, and again, we've got King Snake's gloves, and we've got a snake on this, so it just makes sense. Also, like, this is just flat out one of the best Emperor A1S skins in the game, and I think if you have the opportunity to own one for a while, you 100% should. It's the same for the Icarus Fell. I've rotated between both of them twice. I absolutely love both. They're just such high-tier vibey skins. And given this sort of like off-white color, I thought the Eye of Horus for the Emperor A4 could work really well here. Now, this is $350 for minimal wear. It's one of the most expensive M4 A4s in the game, which means, of course, if you're not vibing with this Clashify, you could go for another M4A4 that you like. That's maybe got a pop of collar, maybe like a cybersecurity, maybe like a Temekio, something like that. But I thought if you want to go for something that's sort of like it's a rare cool vert, it holds up a bit longer, price might be consistent. I thought this could be a good shout for you. And I would have absolutely loved to get a Desert Hydra into the budget here, but it wasn't possible. It would have had like basically half the budget to get something going. But what we can do is get the Oni Taji, which is $330 in minimal wear. And honestly, with the King Snakes, I love the contrast that this purple gets. Obviously, when you inspect it, you get a little bit of red coming through as well. But that purple honestly pops so well with the King Snakes. This is an S tier op, so if you're an opper, you can absolutely enjoy this. Famous, I locked in on the commemoration. No real reason outside of the fact that it's one of the better Famous skins. It looks quite cool. Has all the, well, not all the maps, has some of the maps listed at the back, which assume you don't really see it in inspect. You know, that could have been in the consideration from the artist, but overall, very cool skin, and it works well with the gloves. And then, I have never suggested this in a video, I don't think, we have the little peg for the AUG. This is the field tested version because it holds up pretty well in regards to wear. It's $21. You might not want to spend $21 for an AUG, but I was like, you got 4K budget, so maybe you can. This is just from this is from a collection, right? So from a collection, we don't know what the pricing is really going to be. It's likely to go up in the future based on like previous trends for collections. So I thought it could be an interesting one. Now, over on the T side, for the agent, I'm going to suggest Viper, Sister of the Revolution. Now, this is just trying to show something different outside of the normal Doral collection to get the nice accent colors. You got a slight skin tone change here, which I think with the King Snakes and the skins we're going to be using can actually hold up pretty well. Has different tattoos than the Dorals would have as well, which is kind of interesting. And then, as we go over to the Glock, we are going for what I think is an S tier option. It's the Synth Leaf. Now, this is expensive because it's from the St. Mark collection. It's on the path to trade up to the Wild Lotus. All that goodness, and supply is low. It's over $500, but the fact that we rarely see it, but the blues and the purples look so fucking good, I think this is a slept-on skin that really we should be seeing like pros using a lot more. Like, screw the faded for like, I don't know, like triple the price. Rock this. And for the Tech 9, I was like, it just has to be a fuel injector. It's just shy of $10 for minimal wear. But like AK fuel injector is one of the preferred AKs in the game. I also think that the Tech 9, it just reminds me of something from Monsters Inc. I don't know what it is, but it just gives me that vibe. I think it's like the red lights at the back. And then I'm going to throw a little bit of my bias in. I think if you are rocking a ZZ, you could also be using an R8 instead here. I opted for the ZZ here. At the Slalom, I really like this skin. It is over $8 though for minimal wear. It gets some scuffs, and not everyone wants to pay $8 for a ZZ skin, but this is one of the best ZZ skins in the game. It's also from the Graphic collection, which isn't targeted as much as other collections, so it could be interesting in the future. And then the Mac 10, I hadn't really checked the price of the derailment since the Train collection came out, but now that it's been out for a while, we got souvenirs dropping. It's actually now under $10 for minimal wear, which is really nice. Crazy amount of artwork, and this is one where I was like, let's take advantage of the fact we've got essentially neutral gloves and we can squeeze as many colors in as possible while getting something that maybe isn't suggested too often yet. And we have a very 50-50, but I think amazing P90 here. It's the Run and Hide. Now, I've priced the souvenir version, showcasing without the stickers so you can see the full artwork. It's just under $30, but obviously it's this like leopard pattern stitched the whole way over the gun, which is just kind of a vibe, especially on T side, and that's the sort of shit you can imagine them rocking, I think. Then MP5, I went strictly for the best colors. Now, this is interesting. This is the first time we're seeing the sleeve come through from Viper. So this is just under $5. It's a phosphor, not obviously nowhere near like a blue phosphor, but nice blue base. You got the multicolored across the board up the top, and again, that's what the neutral gloves sort of allow us to do. Then we have the Wasteland Princess. Yes, guys, I am going to be suggesting a sawed-off moving forward because I think you should have it equipped on T side, whether that's for fun games or just for something a bit different. For $1,100, I've got surprisingly amount of good work done with this. on like weird buy rounds. So just, I want to have it in the mix. The Wasteland Princess is a fantastic design. Big fan of it. And I think with the gloves as well, it works really well. Then over on the Gale side of things, I think you want to pick up a Cerberus. Now, I've priced for it in minimal wear, which is $50. This is the non-souvenir version. This is the normal version, which is really nice. I ran a field test on a game for a couple of months, and it's just a top skin, to be honest. And it's an old one too, from the old cash collections. We're probably going to be seeing a new cash and a new cash collection come out. So this one will just hold a bit of nice nostalgia, I feel. Now, we talked about getting an AK upgrade from that Neon Revolution. Now, I'm not saying get rid of the Neon Revolution. I think you can still run that in rotation. It's a cool stat track skin. Use it for 5 years plus. See what you get to. That's cool. But on this loadout, there's some upgrade pass. And I've allowed budget to get an AK-47 Vulcan factory new in here. Which I think, with minimal working Snakes gloves and then the Viper agent in there, this looks fantastic. Now, I think you do want to craft on it, and I went for minimal. I didn't go minimal wear. I could have saved some money and gone minimal wear, but I didn't because it just gets a bit too scuffed. And when we got 4K budget, we want our centerpiece AK to look the part. So I think grabbing this for $910, and then maybe working towards putting a craft that you like on it. Even if it's a budget-friendly craft and it's just stickers that work well, I'd be open to that. But I think you should consider going up in the AK realm to like one of these S tier options. And then if you don't want to commit the budget for the Vulcan, I think the Be the Monster would be my second suggestion. It's $370 in minimal wear, so you're saving a good chunk of money in comparison that you could put in into elsewhere. And again, it's another one that I think with the gloves just works well. That neutral vibe that you get with the white base into having golds, blues, pinks, purples, greens, everything on this, and just some crazy artwork. I think this is top notch. So one thing to note about this is Overpass is back in the map pool, which means when we go to the Budapest Major in December, we are going to be finally get souvenir versions of this, and I'm not sure how that will impact pricing. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments down below how you think that will impact things, but it's just worth noting that because that could change in the future. And then we have 2 more weapons left to complete this out for Clashify. So we're going to actually go for a Death Strike Souvenir Scout. It's $113 to grab this, and also that's a lovely glitch in the arm. Look at that. Valve, please fix. But yeah, $113 for this. This is one of the best scout skins in the game. Even without the scope design, this has enough on it that I can look at it and be like, oh, you know what, I just absolutely love the vibe this gives. And then we ended up on the SG, where I'm going to suggest you go for a field test souvenir hazard pay. Best SG in the game, in my opinion, and I ran one for a little bit. The one thing to note with these are the supply is very, very messy. So this is $80 plus, because depending on the day and depending on the marketplace, it might be completely different. And I am suggesting this, but only buy it if you're holding it long term, because mine was an absolute nightmare to sell, if I'm being honest. But there we go. That completes the loadout for Clashify. And obviously we spent the 4K budget you had for all the other skins around your already sick knife and glove combo, and we suggested some extra AKs in there that you could upgrade to. So what's the cost of looking like? Now, if I excluded the agents from this, because I don't know if you have agents already, because you've already got such an insane knife and glove combo, you might have agents. If you wanted to go without agents, this comes in at literally just over $4,000. I think it's over by like $1 or $2. It'll be up on the screen now. But if you wanted to go for agents, that will come out at $4,073. So we're in the 5% buffer. We do go over budget once we're going for agents, but because I think you might have some already, I was like, okay, we'll just really lock in on the weapon skins. But there we go. We are going to be continuing to do 2 of these viewer loadouts every single month, and we have a list of requests in the Discord, because that's where I asked for them. But if you want to jump the queue on that, the best way to do so is by becoming a YouTube member, because one of the perks is you get a guaranteed viewer loadout video as soon as possible. And with that said, I want to say a big thank you to all the current YouTube members that we've cooked loadouts for, and you guys continue to support the channel. It is greatly appreciated. So I'm going to end the waffle in there. Clashify, hopefully this was good for you, and hopefully you guys watching also enjoyed seeing some different combinations and different inspiration potentially for your own loadout. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.